It appears there is another dimension beyond that which is known to man. This panel suggests living rent-free in the fourth spatial dimension, which isn't so wild once you get to know the concept, but it still doesn't work. Now what's all the fuss about this dimension business? Well, get this. A point is just a point. It's not a dimension. Therefore, it's the zeroth dimension. Literally just a location in space with no length, width, or depth. If we multiply that point an infinite number of times along a single direction, we finally get ourselves a one dimension. If we take that one-dimensional line and multiply it many times to its side, we get a plane like a piece of paper or board which is two-dimensional. You might recognize the term from 2D video games. Stacking pieces of paper on top of each other will give us something like a cube. And now we are entering the three-dimensional world we live and breathe in. Each layer adds a new degree of freedom, a new direction of movement. Following that logic, we would need to stack multiple three-dimensional layers in a way that transcends our current spatial understanding to enter the fourth dimension, giving us something they call a tesseract, which is essentially a 4D cube, but it's not that simple. A one-dimensional being can only move along a single line, right or left. A two-dimensional being can go left, right, up or down and everything in between, meaning the lower dimensional being cannot comprehend dimensions beyond its own. If a one-dimensional being existed, it would be entirely unaware of the second dimension's existence, unlike the latter which can clearly see the first dimension. We living in the 3D world can see the second dimension, but it cannot see us. From its perspective, we are undefined, non-existent. By extension, we cannot see the fourth dimension, because it has an extra definition we lack. In other words, there could be fourth dimensional beings right now walking amongst us and we wouldn't be aware of their existence, because we simply lack the perspective to, which is an insane thought that right now we could be broadcast on a four-dimensional YouTube, with beings watching us without our knowledge. Now going back to the tesseract, which is a four-dimensional object. Right now it is projected on your screen, which is two-dimensional, meaning you are not really seeing a tesseract, only a projection of it. And even if we 3D print it, it would still be lacking a dimension because everything we can create is only 3D. Theoretically, there is an infinite number of dimensions. If you stack 4D objects, you would get 5D and so on. But we are bound in our three-dimensional existence. We cannot go into the fourth dimension and we cannot even confirm its existence. Some people, however, think this can't be real, that the fourth dimension is actually time itself. If two friends decided to meet in the library, that would be the three-dimensional coordinate. But there is still something missing, which is time, because you can't just be there all the time just waiting for your friend. The when and the where define our lives and existence. But that's exactly the kind of argument a two-dimensional being would say about the third dimension.